Hello, Biz Besties. How are you guys? I'm so excited. I am on YouTube Live today, and this is something that's super different from me, but I'm very excited about. So I'm going to be dropping some information. We'll be doing this with other guests. And so, yeah, this is the start of all the fun activities that I have coming to YouTube. Ignore my pup because you heard him. He's doing too much in the back. But today we're going to talk about how you can organize your files as a photographer, specifically your files for your clients after a photo shoot, what that process looks like. And so I'm going to dive in and giving you some information on that. And I'm also going to share my screen so I can show you guys kind of like behind the scenes of what that looks like. And so this is something I wanted to talk about because I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. And you just kind of figure out what works best for your flow. Like, I highly recommend as a photographer to put your files from your cards directly onto your hard drive right after your shoot. Same day is always best. And so if after a shoot, I'm going to show you my process on how I create the folders and where they reside and like what a full photo will look like. And so we will I'm sorry, my puppy is off the chain today. You hear him, y'all? He's cutting up. This happens every time I go on live and on anything. So yes, so that's something why I wanted to talk about this, because a lot of photographers don't show this process, and I think it's super helpful because it keeps you organized. And then the biggest part is, like, if you're a wedding photographer, you hold your wedding photos for so long. So maybe like a client didn't download their photos, or their download link got broken, or you switched systems or softwares where you were housing your photographs, so you have to easily access your client's photographs. So I'm going to show you the process that I do. First things first, as a photographer, you should be using a professional camera that has dual slots. So what does that mean? That means that it's going to be recording on two SD cards simultaneously. I never shoot a session without doing that, because one card could corrupt, or you have an error message, or anything can happen to one of the SD cards. So that's tip number one. When doing a photo shoot, you must have a camera that has dual slots. My personal favorite is a Sony. I'm a Sony girl, but most professional cameras have them. So with that, after a shoot, I come to the studio and I load it up into my computer. And I leave one of the SD cards right in here. And so this is something I got off of Amazon. Very easy, and it even came with like a little card slot so you can label them. I just know like what side is what. So these are shoots that I have edited or haven't delivered yet, and then this is a clean card. So as I shift them over, I know like what's clean, what needs to be done. So I do not format any card until I've delivered to my client the final images. So this is one backup here. The second option is, the second thing is I go ahead and I load the photographs to my computer. And when I do that, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. Share screen. Let's see if it lets me. Okay. So right here are my folders. So I transfer the raw photographs from my SD card onto my hard drive. I do not store any photographs on my computer because it will slow down my computer tremendously with the amount of photo sessions that I have. So here you see a lot of folders with some dots and colors and things. So as I begin to transfer the raw files, I make a new folder. So every client has their own respective folder. So we say the folder name is always the date of the session, and the client name, and then the type of session. So for example, we're gonna do, today's date is August 9th, August 9th, 2023. So I do 2 days for the month, 2 days for the day, and I I can't type, y'all. Woohoo! And then 4 digits for the year. Then I do space, and then I'm gonna say Angelica Boudoir. So my name, client session type, and then some of these have the letter MC. That's just for myself and my team. When we see that, we know it's a model call. So we're able to use those photographs for marketing or collateral purposes. So this is a regular client, and we're going to make this folder. So that's my client folder. This is how this will live. If I'm ever looking for her, folder in my other hard drive, I could just type the client name. I do first names. I don't include last names, but my business is evolving, and I've served over 500 clients at this point. So I think soon I will be adding the last name just to make it more distinct. But it's working so far. I've been doing this process for like the last 8 or 9 years. So it's been awesome. So once I click the folder, I'll go in here, and then the first folder that I make is my raw folder. So those are the raw images. So I just put raws, and then in this folder, that's where I'll drag all of the photographs from the SD card. So I sit down, I do this same day of the shoot, I drag them into this folder, and then it gives me a peace of mind that the photographs are on my computer and they're on the SD card as backup. So I can sleep at night in peace. So that is for transferring the files. And something else that I have on my computer as a backup, I use a system called Backblaze. It is super affordable, and I highly recommend it for anybody that needs to back up their computer. Basically, you can tell this software, hey, when you have things in this folder, or you can back up the entire computer, it will automatically back up every time. Like, I think you can set it to every hour, or at the end of the day, or immediately, or you can just go in the software and push it to reset or to update. I love that because if something happens to my computer, in my hard drive, well, more so my hard drive, I won't have access to those RAWs. So my backup would be then the SD card that I kept. But I have another form of backup, which is the cloud. You can never have enough backups, specifically for those type of shoots that you can't redo, aka a wedding, a birth, like things like that. So like when it comes to the backups, make sure you have them. So SD card should be a backup, your hard drive should be a backup of the raw files, and then the cloud, some sort of cloud software. So I highly recommend Backblaze. So here are all the raws. So after I edit a session, I'll have another folder called edited. So those will be all the edited photos. I'm going to show you what a full client folder will look like. So this client is red. Anything with a red dot means that the raw files are still inside. I delete the raw files right about a week after I deliver to the client because I won't be like re-editing the files or anything. They've ordered their product. Some photographers keep their raws like to the end of the year. I don't have enough storage for all that, and like once I'm done, I'm done. But you can take that, at your discretion and when you need to delete your RAWs. If you're a new photographer, I recommend you not to delete your RAWs, and here's why. Because you can always go back and re-edit your work as you're starting to learn your style and what kind of presets you're using. You can always go back and reuse your old files and re-edit your pictures. So if you're a new beginner, don't delete them right away. Keep them so that way you can reference them back as you're building your portfolio. And so here I have some things, and I'm just going to go to this client folder here. So this client has gone through the entire experience with me, and right now I have to send off for her album. So that's why I haven't deleted the RAWs yet, because as I go through making the album, I just make sure there's like any small details that I need to tweak. And so in here you see edited files. So if you click on the edited files, these are all her edited images. By the way, I have permission to share this. And the next one is my software. So I use the software called Fundy to do my slideshow for my client reveals. And so I just make its own folder. That way, like, everything is pretty clear. This is the product folder. So this is what they have purchased. So for my clients, with any product purchase, they get the corresponding digitals. So when I see the product folder, I know that this is what they purchase, and so they get the digitals of this. I have like a naming convention for my things, because if I were to put this, it would be super long. So LBB means little black book. So when you click in here, you'll see that these are the images that she selected for her little black book for her session. And then the next one is the album proof. So right in here, there we go. So here's the album design. So I already made the album design. I just haven't sent it off to print yet. And then this is my folder for Lightroom. So I give Lightroom its own folder. That way, all of these icons are not just floating in my client's folder. So this is a subset. So every client should have 6 folders. And then once I delete the raws, I then transfer it to my big hard drive. I have a Gdrive. It's sitting here on my desk. Let me see if I can show you guys. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Dun, dun, dun. So this is my Gdrive. This sucker was a couple good bucks. But it's so worth it because, let me see, there you go. It is a desk hard drive, and this is good, and this holds, I think, 10 terabytes. It's a lot of pictures, So I still store things on the cloud, and I store things on here. I still keep my clients' pictures that they didn't select, just in case I want to go back and use them for my portfolio. Or if they're like, hey, Angelica, I really, really wanted that one picture. I tell them, like, okay, we can go ahead and dig in the archives. So this is my hard drive. This stays on my desk. I never transport this. This is very fragile. So this is my home hard drive. And then that is pretty much how I organize all the things. After my shoot, I delete the client folder from my working hard drive. So this is my working hard drive that I use, a SSD right here. So everything that you saw in that folder means it has work to it. Rather that's an album design, rather that's product, if people are on payment plans. And actually I left some of that out because I wanted to show you guys how I do that. So let me share my screen back over here. Yay. Let's see. Share screen. Window here. Okay. So this client here, her products are pending. So I'm going to add, this client here, she's on a payment plan. So I add a yellow. So yellow means product is a payment plan. The client, blah, blah, blah. Say that 10 times. The client is on a payment plan. This one doesn't have a dot because she's completely done. I deleted her raws. Before I pull over the client folder to the Gdrive, this my forever hard drive, I just pull about 10 to 15 images from the shoot that I really loved. That way I can use them for social media, which is what this is in here. All my, I call it my photo bank that I can use for social media. Everything lives in this folder. And so right now I just need to pull 10 to 15 images from this session, and then I can take this off. So that means that leaves me with these last bit of sessions that I'm working on actively. So that is my workflow of how I, post session, what happens with the files and how I organize them. This happened recently. I have transitioned out of weddings. It's been, a couple years now. And my client, I moved over softwares too. I was on Pixieset, and I do everything now in Sprout Studio. By the way, if you're looking for a CRM, that is the best CRM for photographers, hands down. If you send me a message or comment below, I will give you my link so you can get 20% off. But Sprout Studio is amazing, and so I started deleting things off of Pixieset, and I guess people have these things maybe the link saved on their phone or computer, and she sends me a frantic email 1 a.m. Angelica, please tell me you didn't delete my wedding photos. I'm like, hang tight, boo. Give me a day. to pull your photos. And I went in my hard drive. I know what year it was, so I just went in there and I typed the couple's name and I pulled it up. Within 10 minutes of her email, I sent her an email back, hey, here's a link. I loaded the photos really quickly, and she was able to get all her wedding photos, and she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So it's very rare that happens, but when it happens, you have it and it's easy to find. I really didn't want to sit on that for 24 hours because that would drive me apeshit. But yeah, that is how I organize things. Thank you for joining. And if you're watching the replay, tell me in the comments what you enjoyed the most about this video, and stay tuned for more content like this coming your way.